Hello fellow travelers, my name is SG and welcome to the channel. Today I wanted to do something a little different. I usually do series that have been completed, or movies or something like that. But this time I want to do an ongoing series, something that's currently in process of being made and is almost done, with 2 more issues down the line. I think one's already out by now, but we still got book number 8 coming. So, for right now, let's get started on a look at Justice League versus Godzilla versus King Kong. Alright, let's get started. Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong was written by Brian Buccellato. The art is done by Christian Deuce, and the colorist is Luis Guerrero. Now, going into this, I will admit I did not know what to expect. I was not a big fan of the concept originally, but after giving it a good read, I can say that this is a very fun and enjoyable project to kind of look at. And it does settle on a lot of themes that the original, Godzilla vs. Kong hit on, while at the same time giving it a DC vibe, giving it a DC color scheme, if you will. The storyline starts off with the Legion of Doom, led by Lex Luthor, wanting or hoping to find something in the Fortress of Solitude, as Lex Luthor always finds in several different media. Something that will defeat the Justice League once and for all and let them be the dominant figures in this universe. They get the sled of Orion and a mother box. 2 odd objects that Lex Luthor says he's able to combine so that they can send them to the Phantom Zone. Only for Toyman to ruin this by accidentally setting off a signaling the Justice League to show up and inevitably try to arrest them. Superman in this situation is more of the highlighted character we're focusing on. In this scenario, we see that he is trying to propose to Lois Lane, but he keeps going back and forth with the idea of being a hero plus trying to be a man in this situation, with kind of Hal Jordan keep egging him to not go through with it, with everybody else trying to help him achieve or help him get the courage to do this. Batman is on the more supportive role in this situation. He is there to ground Clark, tell him the negatives, but also that he is happy for him in this situation, that he does want him to find happiness overall. It's a breath of fresh air for Bruce Wayne, especially in modern DC, to actually be a supportive character in the comics, because he's always seen as a downer or always being seen as a realist. In this version of Batman, we see him as being more hopeful and wanting to protect more of Superman and the Justice League more than anybody else. That's a direction that we haven't seen in a minute, and if we have, it's not very often. Anyway, we do see that to escape, they manage to activate the Mother Box, the Legion of Doom, and end up in another reality, one that harbors the kaiju creatures, the Godzilla and Kong creatures, or monsters depending on who you say, and that they end up on Skull Island, where they are able to find an outpost by Monarch that is keeping score of what Kong is doing, and at the same time keeping track of other kaijus in this universe. From there, we see Toyman is actually concocting something in his head. He's trying to figure out what he wants to do, how to collect all these creatures and form them into one force. While the rest of the Legion of Doom just want to try to get home at this point, Toyman is frustrated because he is the low man on the totem pole in this situation. He is not respected nor liked amongst them, and is considered a loose end that no one really wants to have. And using the Dream Stone that he managed to pilfer from the Fortress of Solitude, he makes it to where the creatures that he is amazed by end up in the regular DC continuity along with Skull Island, and ends up sending each of the Legion of Doom members to different parts or where they originally come from, leaving Lex Luthor back at LexCorp. We do see a lot of the creatures and understand that they are not acting themselves. The creatures are under the influence of Toyman and the Dream Stone. The Dream Stone, as some of us may know, grants a wish of whoever holds it. And Toyman's wish was to bring these creatures and to destroy the Justice League at the same time, proving he himself is a worthy foe to be on the Legion of Doom. Not to be leader, but just that he is worthy of being there overall. And we do get this idea that their characters, like Kong and Godzilla being the main ones, are very much what they are in movie and in their lore in this series. Godzilla feels that the presence of Superman along with several other characters are unnatural, so he's going to fight them because he wants to bring nature to a balance. While Kong is just there to protect the island and the islanders as he can. We do get a lot of smart writing in this. We do see the characters ending up where they should be. Like Green Arrow being on Skull Island. That doesn't make sense, but if you know his story of him being trapped on an island, you see that he's probably the most fit to be there. We do see Batman trying to play scientist and trying to save Superman because Superman can't fight Godzilla. I mean, they can with fists, but if they get a blast in, they will go down because Godzilla is himself radioactive overall. It makes note of that in the books also. And then there's these times where Lex Luthor, using technology from the other universe where these kaiju exist, he manages to also get the computer bases for the Monarch programming. He's able to see what they were doing, what they were planning, and what they managed to document on each of the kaijus, such as what is a defense mechanism against Godzilla. And with that being said, we do get one surprise at the end of Book 5, where he manages to build a Mecha Godzilla, using his own material along with what Monarch has scheduled. And at the end of Book 5, we don't really see what Batman's up to. We just see the Justice League are working alongside him and knowing that this is going to be a long shot. But what we can gather for the most part is that he is building a mech suit that kind of looks like a Gundam slash, a giant robot basically. Now, overall, the storyline is good. I will say that it does hit all the marks that a Godzilla and King Kong movie would give. And it does make sense that every character that we see and are introduced to act as they should, depending on their comic book counterparts. I do think that the personalities are a little more lightened up in this situation, and I do think it does benefit from that. It shows the connections they've made with each other, and it shows that they really are relying on one another overall. The characters overall are fine. I think that the main focus being Superman, as he trying to propose to Lois, is definitely making it more of a time cruncher story, you know what I mean? It makes it feel like there's actually weight going on with Superman himself in this situation. Godzilla, like I said, he does fit what they're trying to say. He is a force of nature that's trying to keep the balance of nature. He sees Superman as something unnatural. It would make sense because Superman himself is not from Earth, so something of Earth would obviously know that he doesn't belong. Kong, while not being a main factor in the overall story, you can see him being something bigger. You can see him being something that will be a force later on in the story. Toyman being the main antagonist in this is an interesting take, honestly. I didn't expect that because every time Toyman comes up, even in the old school Super Friends series, we don't really get much of him. We don't really see him do much. Except, make explosives out of toys or something like that. So the fact that he has these insecurities, that this is something that's driving the main story, is very funny and very interesting on its own. I didn't expect it for this story, but it works. And the fact that he gets the Dreamstone just makes it all the more interesting. And Lex Luthor taking this opportunity to make himself the alpha in this situation really fits his character as well, because we can see him actually doing that at the end of the day. The art in this is very well done. It does have a lot of the tones. It has a different tone, like I said, with the writing. Just same can be said for the art. The art is very bright, very vibrant, very colorful. I will say that they did take a different route for this to make it not so dark. Because I can see with Godzilla and Kong that it's very easy to do that. It's very easy to make it grittier. It's very easy to make it, shadier. But I do appreciate the different types of tones we see in this. We do see Batman himself is still dark and gritty, but the rest of the Justice League, they have this feeling that they're just popping off the page. Not to say that it's perfect, but it does give a new and vibrant vibe to this series that we see in a lot of other, crossovers like the Justice League and Power Rangers and so on and so forth. but I really do appreciate it, and it doesn't distract from the story overall. There are quite a few references that can be seen in the book, such as, like I said before, Lex Luthor finding the Fortress of Solitude. Like, that's clearly a reference to several of the animations, or even Superman, I think, Returns, where he did find it. So, that in itself could be classified as a reference, I guess. But we do have, like, small glimpses, like in Jaws. We see Barry running from the sea creature. And of course, we get the Kraken making an appearance, and in Atlantis, which is pretty funny to think that Aquaman has the Kraken underneath Atlantis in case something like this were to go down. But overall, there aren't that many. I will say that it does feel like it's trying to take an original take on these two IPs that are very famous, while at the same time trying to keep it something familiar. The kaijus themselves, other than Godzilla and Kong, I don't really feel are noteworthy. I do remember seeing them kind of in, I believe it was Godzilla King of Monsters, but other than that, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't make note of them right away. As for predictions, I think we can pretty much see that it's going to end up being a major robot slash kaiju fight, which will be epic, with Batman and Lex Luthor being on opposing sides, with the Rogues, or should I say Legion of Doom, depending on who you ask, being kind of wanting to take this opportunity to take down the Justice League. So it's going to be like a big scramble towards the end, which will be a fun ride, because we don't really see them as organized. Even in the book, they make point to note that none of them are really well liked by each other. So it's pretty much going to eat itself alive at this point. What I do think is that they will do a part 2, judging how well this one did. That even I got my attention. So if they do a part 2, I'm hoping to see King Ghidorah along with Mothra make an appearance. I know probably by this point they're already down for the count, but it still would be interesting to have more notable kaijus from the Godzilla universe make an appearance. And, you know, just to see more famous or well-known creatures pop up here and there. But that's pretty much where I stopped from there. I can't wait to read the last few issues. So, yeah, let's get on to our final thoughts, shall we? All in all, this series has been a fun ride. I will say that there hasn't been a disappointing moment. Like I said, I would have liked to see more of the Godzilla original kaiju, such as Mothra or King Ghidorah, but I understand where in the story this is supposed to be taking place in the monster universe, so I can understand why. And like I said, if they do a part 2, maybe we'll see them then. I do like that all the characters are very much in theme with themselves. There are some Justice League members I do feel are a little off, like Hal Jordan. I don't feel he's acting like how you would think Hal Jordan would act. But I do think that it's still a fine personality trait for him. I do like the certain improvements on other things they've done. I do like the surprising antagonist reveal, it being Toyman overall. The art scheme is fine. It does leave something new and gives a better impression than some other crossovers have in the past, along with the kind of reasoning why Godzilla is attacking these areas. He is protecting the balance along with all that. Very in character for him, along with Kong not really being involved in the story until they try to force him into the story, just like Godzilla vs. Kong itself. And with the added suspense of whether Superman will survive or not, does add a sense of urgency that everyone can't relax in this situation. They can't rely on Superman in this situation. Even Supergirl is unsure that she is able to put up a fight with any of these creatures. And if they can get these creatures to fight one another, then that would be even better. So, overall, this is a very good series. It does keep to its themes for both the Kaijuverse and the DC Universe, or Monsterverse, depending on who you ask. And the idea that Monarch's still going on is still a fun idea, and would definitely be a very interesting point for Lex Luthor to want to have. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review real quick. I did just want to talk about it considering the movie had just come out. And yeah, if you liked it, please leave a comment down below. Please subscribe. I'd really much appreciate it. And leave a like. And I hope to see you guys next time. If you have any suggestions for any other series you'd like me to cover, please let me know in the comments down below. See you later. And have a good day.